Can anyone reach Grandmaster if they work hard enough, or is it something only approximately 1% actually have the potential to do? Inspired by a Reddit post, because what isn't inspired by Reddit recently, I've been sitting down to think about this very question, and there are a couple angles from which you can approach this. Do you just want to hit 4K so you get the maximum amount of competitive points for your gold guns? Do you want it for the bragging rights? Or do you want to genuinely become a Grandmaster rated player? Today I want to dig deep into the mechanical and game sense requirements surrounding the highest rank in Overwatch. Is it something you need to be gifted to achieve, and is your aim always the best point to start? I'm gonna be trying to answer that and much more right after this. Want to make your own videos and show the world how much better you are at doing said thing than me? Well, now you can, and that for an absolute steal. Humble Bundle's Vegas Pro Creative Freedom Pack allows you to unleash your creative potential, and that for a fraction of the usual cost. With an MSRP of $399 US, Vegas Pro 14 is no cheap program, but you can get that along with many other programs in this bundle to further your creativity for just $20. Even better, you can choose where your money goes, so even if you don't like my face, you can make sure that your money ends up where it makes a difference. Get awesome products while supporting charity as well as my channel by using the link in the description below to purchase this or many other bundles on humblebundle.com. The reason this question has always kind of been speaking to me is because I am not a gifted individual myself. Sure, I have always loved video games and I've been playing shooters for about as long as I can remember, but at the end of the day, I'm just your average guy playing video games. I am one of those people who started off down in Platinum to work myself up to Master and beyond, and I want to kind of talk about how I achieved that. Sure, genuine improvement is a big factor, and that's the only reason I can hold the rank I have to date. If I was playing competitive, let's hope Season 8 is gonna be better. But when it comes down to squeezing every last bit of elo out of yourself to get as high as possible, yes, there are a few tricks I use to reliably hit GM every season, and I want to go through this process with you together. So the very first question we're gonna have to ask ourselves here is, why do we want to be in GM? The mentality you bring to the table can make a big difference. If you just want to have a higher rank for having a higher rank's sake, then you're likely approaching the issue from a wrong angle. Back in Season 2, when the ranked system changed from a 1 to 100 to a 1 to 5000 scale with the addition of the emblems we know to date, I had that exact mentality. I placed around 2600 after ending off on rank 61 the first season of competitive Overwatch, which at the time was nothing groundbreaking or even worth mentioning whatsoever. All I was thinking about was how I should be in a higher rating because duh, I deserve it. I brought my Call of Duty mentality to the table while playing a lot of, well, Call of Duty, man. But eventually I learned that one does not simply deserve something unless they work for it. It wasn't until I took a step back and realized that my kill everything to win mentality was not how this game was supposed to be played. Eventually I learned that playing DPS just for the sake of playing DPS is not gonna get me anywhere when I inherently hate playing those heroes. And that was the only reason I played Soldier to begin with. I thought he was a terribly boring character, but hey, it's a shooter, right? And I've played shooters before, so let's pop some heads and get some elo. But Overwatch is so much more than that. Once I started reviewing my own gameplay, trying out more heroes, and figured out what I was naturally good at, ranking up became a byproduct. Not only that, I ranked up very rapidly too. I made the switch from somebody who felt entitled to a higher rank, constantly yelling at their teammates whilst neglecting to realize that I was making mistakes myself, to someone who just wanted to get better at the game. And that was really fun because I finally figured out which heroes I liked playing. I still like to shoot people in the face, no doubt, so heroes like Reinhardt and Mercy never really resonated with me back then. But Zenyatta and Ana sure did. Once I found something I genuinely enjoy playing and my goal was just getting better at said thing because it's fun, I easily got out of Platinum straight into Diamond. So here's the first answer. If you just want GM because you feel you deserve it, or your answer is just because, you're likely gonna have a bit of a hard time. Because with that kind of mentality, you'll probably make it more difficult for yourself to see what you're doing wrong to then improve on those things. Back then, we didn't have any in-depth guides on how to review our gameplay or people who would review our gameplay for us. And yet, so many of us managed to get better with the sole help of their I want to improve mentality. So it is my belief that as long as you have your mindset on wanting to improve, you will figure out what you're doing wrong and how to do it better. Something that's much more difficult if you're just looking for bragging rights. But a big part of this ordeal is also the way you approach the game as a whole. Sure, I found characters I enjoy playing, and that's why improving was so much more fun than trying to play heroes I hate playing, but part of the experience is learning when what you're doing doesn't work. Zenyatta is not a universally viable character in any team setting. If you're running against a dive comp and your team refuses to help you, then your positioning can be as good as it gets. You're likely still dying over and over again, just to name an example. So something I learned along the way was gauging skill levels. examples, taking a look at how the enemies play and compare that to my own gameplay. Can I pop that Tracer as Zenyatta before she kills me or not? Is my McCree good enough to take care of this Genji? Would my team benefit more of a Roadhog even though I'm not amazing on him? Gauging skill levels is a great ability that's going to help you make crucial swaps in situations where others would give up. You'll learn that people don't always play their strongest heroes, and even if they do, the counter-heavy nature of this game could give you an edge. My subpar tank play could often help me achieve victory in matches where me sticking to support would have meant inevitable defeat. Swapping to stall characters to not give up on the point, come up with a surprise swap in an attempt to sweep the point before the enemies can counterpick, things like that. I believe that this, in conjunction with me realizing what I was naturally good at to then practice it further to become even better at it, is what helped me ranking up so rapidly and finding my own skill ceiling with relative ease. So I would definitely say that when it comes to aim versus game sense is gonna weigh in way more heavily, and we're gonna offer some counter examples here as well. If you look at McCree for example, even if your aim is godlike, chances are that you are still going to need a babysitter every so often if the opposition is even remotely competent. McCree does not have any mobility or self-sustain, and he can shoot things only so often. Soldier might have set mobility and self-sustain, however, he does a really poor job of teaching you how to play Overwatch properly. Thanks to his ability to sprint, he's going to put you in a habit of overextending because, well, you can reposition yourself anyway. Because Soldier can do so many things all on his own, it's just way too tempting to actually go out of your way to be the lone wolf. I have even seen Grandmaster ranked Soldier players with really good aim who don't grasp onto the most simple concepts of this team-based game, such as the fact that if he can kill 3 people with his ultimate, the enemies would obviously be able to do the same thing, or that trading your life is not a good idea. Heroes that challenge you are way better for your ability to learn how to play Overwatch properly. Tanks teach you how to create space and properly initiate an engagement or defuse an enemy push via crowd control abilities. Supports teach you target priority and cooldown management, as well as making it very apparent that positioning is important. Only by putting yourself in the shoes of each and every role in this game, you will be able to learn how difficult it is to pull off each of these jobs, and that will teach you how to properly play with your teammates. Once you're playing a support and you learn how frustrating it is to see your DPS run in and die, you have a way better idea of how line of sight works and how to best avoid getting yourself killed while remaining supported when playing DPS yourself. Once you're playing DPS and you get killed because your Reinhardt dropped his shield for a fire strike, or you can't engage because your tanks are too passive, you'll learn that proper initiation to a teamfight is important when playing a tank yourself. This is why getting your hands on every hero for at least a little bit is so beneficial to your ability to improve at Overwatch, because everything is supposed to work together like a well-oiled machine, and experiencing the struggle of your fellow teammates puts everything into perspective. It affects the way you play your own role even when you don't end up being a tank or support main. And all of these things are so much more important than just working on your aim. In fact, tunnel visioning to only work on your mechanics can easily hurt your ability to form a proper unit with the rest of your team and finding creative solutions to tough problems. Mechanical prowess is what separates the good players from the amazing ones, but a lack of understanding for the basic mechanics of the game is what makes a player, well, below average. But once you found your skill ceiling, improvement is gonna be much slower, and that's where min-maxing can come in very handy. I am by all means a Masters player, nothing more, and yet I managed to reliably hit Grandmaster every single season to secure myself the maximum amount of competitive points. Fact of the matter is that the difference between somebody who just scratches GM, like myself, and somebody who reliably stays deep in GM is massive. I am nowhere near good enough to mingle with players in Grandmaster unless I improve, and I have to accept that this is my skill cap. But when it comes to skill ratings, things are a bit more fluid than you might think. Your skill is rarely ever represented by a single number. It's usually a range of ratings. For me, that could be anywhere between 3700 and 4000. Hitting my upper cap does not make me a 4000 rated Grandmaster player. It makes me a master who got lucky. But was it really luck? This is where we get to min-maxing, and it's honestly fairly simple. For one, in an attempt to maximize your MMR, you want to make sure you play your best heroes as often as possible and only swap when you're certain it's a beneficial swap to secure victory. Because after all, only victories increase your MMR. Furthermore, you want to make sure that you find out what the best time to queue is in your region. For me, queuing at prime time would give me the worst experience, so I made sure to play most of my games either really early in the morning or really late at night. mate. But this might vary for you wherever you live and whichever server you play on. And lastly, find yourself a duo partner you work really well with. Back in the day, I would duo queue with a Genji main while playing Ana because securing wins with nanoblades was really easy. Later, I would duo queue with a Tracer main because they would be able to get a lot of work done with my Harmony and Discord orbs. But here's what you have to watch out for, especially as a support main. Only pocketing a DPS duo partner is most definitely going to stagnate your MMR eventually. Sure, I could easily hit my upper cap of around 3900 and hit GM occasionally, but as a support, you're supposed to be supporting everyone, and the game knows that. So it wasn't until I tossed myself back into solo queue to learn how to play properly, versus just pocketing my mate, that I could have a stable rating up in GM for at least a couple seasons. And this is why I don't like duo queuing as a long-time solution. Sure, it makes it easier to hit your upper cap, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be limited to only play Overwatch whenever that person is online. So learning how to deal with the solo queue environment is usually going to hold the most stable results when staying in that rank truly matters to you. At the end of the day, people keep saying that Overwatch is easy because it is designed to be easy. I know people hate it when I draw that parallel, but in that sense, it's a lot like Heroes of the Storm. From a mechanical perspective, the game is about as simple as it gets, but what makes the difference is knowing a lot about the game, acting on it, and working as a team. As we're used to it by now with Blizzard games, you win your matches and you lose your matches together, whether you like it or not. But this is me done for the day as I talk about Overwatch and whether aim or game sense creates a path to Grandmaster. As always, my friends, leave all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. But until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you all next time.